welcome back to the 26th episode of Sports Avenue with Jim and Steve being your hosts.
We are the hosts.
And we're talking about fantasy football, as yes, it is looming around the corner here.
We love it. Love our fantasy football. I love my fantasy.
NFL's less than 2 months away here.
Preseason starts in less than a month.
Yeah.
God, I love this country. Very excited. Very, very excited. Here we go, Brownies. Here we go. You suck. Anyway, Podbean link is going to be in the description. If you want to go ahead and search it yourself, Sports Avenue with Jim and Steve.podbean.com. We have a website. It is up and running. Sportsnuts.co. Look it up. Have fun. Sportsnuts.co. It's up and running. It's still in development, so, be critical, but don't be, jerks about it, all right? If you want to write for us, you want to write with us, you want to write, about whatever, ifs, ands, and buts, doesn't matter. Drives us nuts.
Join us.
One
of us.
Contact him. Become one of us. Reach out to us. We, on Twitter, we, at officially nutty. Is Sports Nuts is Twitter. For Sports Avenue, it's at _Sports Avenue. We're on Facebook, Sports Avenue with Jim and Steve. Go ahead and look us up. Instagram, Sports _Avenue 440.
That's also our Twitch.
It is also our Twitch, Sports _Avenue 440. And, as always, the best way to get a hold of us, whether you want to talk about the show or you would like to go ahead and submit your application to write for us,
is our electronic mail device.
At Gmail.
SportsAv440 at gmail.com.
And sportsnuts440 at gmail.com. Now, fantasy football predictions. Here we go. We're going to start off with the most important position in fantasy.
The backbone.
And the most frowned upon position in real life.
Yeah, the position that everyone says is going away from the league.
It's getting away from the league, and I think that's just absolute hogwash. I think arguably the running back position.
It's rejuvenated itself.
It's one of the most important positions in the league.
If you think about the best teams in the league, they have some of the best running games.
I agree.
But, it's not a good position anyways.
Oh, yeah, it's not a good position. Nobody really likes it. Oh, my God, who won Rookie of the Year? Oh, okay, anyway. So, let's just talk about that. Anyway, we're going to go through top 10s of the important offensive positions.
Running backs and wide receivers.
QB, and
QB.
We'll do top 5s on tight ends. And we'll give you what we think about it, our insight, our thought process.
Our main source for all this was...
And we'll give you sleepers on every position.
And our main source was Fantasy Pros, I believe.
Yes, it was. It was Fantasy Pros. So, and I like them. I like what they do. I do a lot of mock drafts through them every year before I do my leagues.
Their rankings were pretty sketchy.
Yeah, their rankings were awful, though. They were absolutely awful. They were atrocious to the point to where I was actually felt disgusted.
Reminded me of looking at the man ratings this year.
Oh, my God. Man was so bad.
Anyways.
But
let's just start with the easy.
Start them off. So
the easiest one to get out of the way.
Saquon Barkley had like 300 touches last year.
And he's going to get about maybe like 600 this year.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, he's going to need all of them. So, realistically, he's going to have probably close to another 3 this year if he doesn't break himself. Saquon's a clear-cut one. He should be the first pick overall, hands down.
If you're the first pick, you don't have any other choice. Really.
No, it's Barkley because Zeke, he might sit. There's a chance that Zeke doesn't play this year. So, if you're a commissioner and you got the first pick,
it's becoming the wild, wild west out
yeah,
there in Dallas.
Yeah, sure.
About to have a standoff.
Yeah. Hold off drafting it for as long as possible because if you're planning on taking Zeke 1, which I know a guy at my work is, it's a bad move. It's a bad move. Christian McCaffrey. It's not a bad pick.
He's a great fantasy choice.
Absolutely great fantasy choice.
Zeke's one of those guys that he's going to get you a lot of rushing yards. He's just not going to get you a lot of catching yards, catching receptions, stuff
which
like
is close to something I would compare him to, he's the high end Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb would be like the next tier Zeke, in my opinion, right?
Well, yeah. Because those two are very similar. They can catch, but again,
they're better off running downhill.
Yeah, running the ball and pass blocking.
I agree. Christian McCaffrey, on the other hand, he takes carries, but he's more of a receiving back.
Yeah, he almost had 100 catches last year.
Yeah,
Which he'll probably do this year. I wouldn't be surprised.
absolutely. Yeah, Christian McCaffrey is a good pick. In my opinion, he's a very good pick. His rookie year, I drafted him first, so
Yeah.
not overall, but he was my first round pick. I don't think you really go wrong there. I don't
Those
necessarily
three-
know. I mean, like, he may have down games, but he's still a solid pick.
Yeah, I mean, definitely.
Now, this is my opinion. I think Alvin Kamara is going to bust this year. I don't think he's a workhorse.
He'll do okay. It's just he's not going to. I don't think
He's not going to have.
He's not going to live up to the expectations of whatever.
And people are going to call that a bust. I'm not calling that a bust. I think he's either going to get hurt or the workload, the workhorse, temperament's going to be too much for him and he's not going to be able to do it.
Well, because I mean, it is really tough for a running back to be a vital part of the passing game as well as being a running game.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's easy. Absolutely not. It's not. Not an easy
I know what
feat.
you're saying. I know what you're saying.
But I think that Alvin Kamara is going to have a very down year. I think he'll end up being like a solid
I think his rushing yards aren't going to look good, but his passing his receiving yards he'll have I think as expected with receiving yards, but I think the production of him rushing the ball, I don't think it's going to be what everyone expects him to be.
I agree with that.
Because he's good at catching the ball out of the backfield.
He might be a solid RB2.
Yeah.
On his high end, but he's definitely not going to carry a fantasy team this year. David Johnson. This is a make or break year for him. I mean, in my opinion, it's either going to be highs, big numbers,
in Arizona,
or no numbers.
I think in Arizona it's not going to happen because they're not going to be running the ball a lot. They're just
they've already made that clear. And David Johnson, he can catch out of the backfield, but
he's good at running the ball. He's shown he's a top 5 back when he's healthy and can produce. If he's in an actual pro style offense, let me clarify that.
So I think David Johnson, he's going to have a mediocre year. I don't see him having big numbers. I'd say I'm going to lean more low.
Thinking about it, I would not be. I think he'll be traded within the first 4 weeks of the season.
Really?
Maybe he has one good game and they're like kind of what they did with Carlos Hyde, what the Browns did with Carlos Hyde. He was doing pretty good. Let's ship him off and let's start with something new. Because David Johnson, I think, would want to play in a system where he's going
to actually run the ball.
Yeah. Why would he?
That's fair.
Why would he want to be playing in a college system?
Yeah.
He's shown he can be a top 5 back in the league, and he's only 27, 28.
I mean, he's got a couple years, but once a running back hits 30, plus he's had a lot of injury. I don't know what they'd get in a trade for him.
I'm talking like a team that needs a running back. I don't know one specifically in mind that would be
That would need a running back. If Josh Jacobs doesn't pan out, I could see Oakland trying to swing something.
I was thinking Kansas City if Damian Williams struggles.
There you go. That's actually not a bad pick.
But Damian Williams is pretty. He did really well last year for the time.
I agree.
So,
Melvin Gordon. He's a solid pick as long as he stays with the Chargers. I think his draft stock is going to plummet
if he gets traded.
Depending on what team he's going to.
He's going to learn an entire new system in a matter of a few weeks before the regular season starts. Because you're going to have these contract talks until the season starts.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I agree. So. Melvin Gordon, I don't think he's a top 5 guy. I don't think
he's like the middle of the first. If you don't have like one of those top receivers either to pick, I think he's like okay.
Yeah, I think Melvin Gordon. I don't think he's going to carry a team, but he's
a good
he's a high end
player.
RB2. Joe Mixon could be an RB1 by the end of the year. Cincinnati doesn't have a lot to be happy about, except for this kid.
And the receiving core. That's
AJ Green.
And Tyler Boyd.
Tyler Boyd still needs to come out of his shell a little. However, he helped me to a championship last year, so...
Yeah, there you go.
So who dey?
Those are the 3 guys on offense. And, again, I don't know about Zach Taylor yet, so... My doubts are so high right now. And they just lost Jonah Williams, so...
Yeah, for the year. Oh, no big deal. Oh, you need surgery? Glad we drafted you.
Did you know, every, first-round rookie they've drafted, the last 3 to 4 years have been out the first year they've played?
Seriously? Oh, wow.
It's weird. Yeah, you definitely recommend looking into that.
Illuminati confirmed.
Yeah.
But I think Joe Mixon could be a low end RB1. But to start, he's going to be high end RB2. I think every game he'll produce a good amount.
He'll probably just get better as the year goes on.
Yep. Le'Veon Bell, though, being a top 10 back, being a top 10 player is actually insulting.
He's a boomer bust. That's how I see it. He's either going to go off and insane.
I think if he doesn't, then if Le'Veon Bell has a bad year, the Jets have a bad year. I think because
Darnold needs.
Darnold needs that relief.
Yeah, that's what a lot of these young quarterbacks need.
Baker Mayfield needs that relief.
Yeah, as they develop.
I personally think Bell's gonna bust, and he's gonna look like an ass for coming back and getting all that money, and he's gonna bust hard.
Mm-hmm. I have my doubts with Bell. I mean, when he was in Pittsburgh, he was one of the best backs.
Yeah, I mean, when he was in Pittsburgh, he was arguably
the best back in the league.
1 or 2.
Yeah, but again, I think sitting out a year, I guess.
I think it hurt him, man. I really do.
Yeah, as a football player, I don't know. I think we'll have to wait and see. Again, if you're feeling risky and think he'll work out, I think you take him. But for me, I'm more.
I mean, I think if you get to the beginning or middle second round and Le'Veon Bell still there, you have to take him.
Yeah, because there's really no hurt there.
No, you have to take him.
Because you'll definitely be set on.
Yeah, if you don't, you're silly. But James Conner, on the other hand, I think James Conner is more of a late second round, early third round guy. He's a solid pick, but he showed last year with being the workhorse. It weighs on him. He gets hurt. He misses a couple games.
He doesn't miss a lot, but he misses like 2 to 4.
Yeah, but 2, and they were later in the year.
Yep.
And so they're vital for you down the stretch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think Benny Snell is going to end up splitting carries. It'll be like a solid 60-40 split. And that's really all Snell's going to need.
Yeah, because Snell doesn't catch out of the backfield.
People sleeping on Benny Snell. I think you're silly, man. He is a legitimate back. James Conner can catch. He catches really well out of the backfield.
Which I didn't know because I figured in Pittsburgh, I didn't think they passed the ball to their running backs a lot, and then he comes out and he's doing.
I mean, Le'Veon caught a whole lot of passes too, but
again, you don't think to that extent.
Yeah, you don't.
Especially
when you think of Pittsburgh, you don't think, oh man, Le'Veon's gonna catch 50, Connor's gonna catch.
Well, I used to
catch 40.
I suppose when I was expecting of Connor, I guess as a football player, it just wasn't. I wasn't expecting a great dual threat back. I guess.
I agree. I agree.
I thought the past year he was going to struggle real bad because he was going to be getting thrown into the fire, and he ended up.
And he blossomed, in my opinion. I think he's a very good back.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's RB2 high end. That's tops.
I think he might be in the Mixon range where if he stays healthy, he'll. I mean, again, if he has a year like he did last year and he stays healthy, he'll be great.
I mean, to be clear, I'll take Joe Mixon over James Conner. I agree with that.
Because Mixon's going to be more vital to an offense.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because the Pittsburgh, they still have, I think overall offensively they're better. I think.
Then Cincinnati, absolutely. Yeah, I agree with that.
A better line, I think.
Pittsburgh has arguably a top 5 offensive line.
Granted, they're aging every year, but again, that's not. They're still producing. They're still.
Sorry, one of these years they'll really suck.
Yeah.
Number 10, Nick Chubb. I love Nick Chubb. I think he's going to be a consistent workhorse. He's going to take that pressure off Baker when needed. But it may only last the first half of the year.
I really hope
And then I expect Kareem Hunt to split carries with him.
Freddie Kitchens better pull something out of the box for these guys to get the ball. Like Hunt and Chubb.
But you look at that entire offense. You got Hunt, you got Chubb, Baker.
But if you don't have
OBJ,
but if the running game doesn't,
Jarvis Landry, David Njoku.
But I think the running game's I think the most important asset.
Higgins, Callaway. I mean, I agree too. I absolutely 100% agree. If you do not establish the run game, Baker struggles. He throws up picks because he's trying to force it.
Yeah.
But I think you have the receiving talent that you can argue that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it goes both ways. However, Nick Chubb will be a solid RB2. I don't think he's going to carry a fantasy team. Personally. But then again, he may flop. Because he doesn't catch a lot of the backfield.
I mean, I wouldn't say flop it. I just think from a fantasy perspective, he might not be a guy you want to get, like kind of like Zeke, where they're just going to run the ball a crap ton.
Yeah.
They'll get the ball. Yeah, again, you're just going to have to get high-end receivers to kind of compensate for that.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, yeah. You'll either you'll high-end receivers, because I think Chubb will be there in like third round. Late second, so you should have a shot at him, but who knows. Sleepers, Kerryon Johnson, Benny Snell, if James Conner struggles or gets hurt, but I think they'll split carries to an extent anyway. Phillip Lindsay, Tevin Coleman, David Montgomery, Tariq Cohen cannot carry a team.
Because he's not a pure running back.
It's not even an argument. He's not better.
He's just a Darren Sproles.
Yes.
That's all, and that's fine.
And that's fine.
He's a great flex guy.
You're not an RB1. You're not even an RB2.
Tariq Cohen's like a perfect guy. If you want a flex guy, he's your guy.
There you go. There's your flex player. That's it. And Darrell Henderson, if Gurley's actually crippled.
If Gurley's injury is bad,
Darrell Henderson is an amazing pick. Amazing sleeper pick.
Yeah, and he might be a waiver wire pickup too, because I mean, again,
yeah, I don't know if he'll even get drafted
but
in most leagues, but
yeah, if he probably will be a great waiver wire pickup.
I agree. All right, we're gonna move on quick to receivers. DeAndre Hopkins, he's the clear cut number one.
Yeah, after last year,
Devontae Adams for me, he's more of a wide receiver 5 overall.
He was,
but he's not a bad option.
Yeah,
I mean, I had him on my team last year. I've had him on my team the last 2 years. He's a solid receiver.
Yeah, he was ranked number 2 on Fantasy Pros. That's why we're discussing him at the moment.
But he's more of like
4 or 5. I mean, I think that's where he fits.
Yep. Julio Jones is my receiver 2 or 3. It's a great pick. It's a great pick no matter what you do with it.
I mean, I think Hopkins and Julio are your 1 and 2. I don't. There's no other, I think, duo that are as good as they are.
I agree. Hopkins, Julio, and then you can make the argument for Michael Thomas. We'll talk to him. We'll talk about him in a minute. OBJ is a toss-up for me. I think Baker doesn't throw. He doesn't target a specific receiver like OBJ is used to.
Yeah, he doesn't look across the field. He might have like Jarvis in open coverage, and he just like, I gotta throw it to OBJ because
OBJ might catch it deep. No, I don't think he's gonna do that.
No,
I don't think he's gonna be like, all right, man, Odell, you're my dude. I don't think that's going to happen. I think OBJ might be a fantasy dud.
He's going to produce, just not.
I think he may end up being a flex player. I don't think he's going to be receiver 1. I don't think he's going to be a 2. Unless it's... I mean, like, we'll find out early in the year what their tendencies are going to be. Draft-wise, people will draft him high.
Yeah,
way high.
Because his talent's unreal.
Yeah, it's unbelievable, and that's fine. I think he's going to be more of a flex player.
Again, I think it's going to be the situation where what he produces is going to be in efficient spurts. It's not going to be he'll be getting 100 receptions. He might.
No, it'll be closer to like what Landry did last year. It'll be like 80 plus.
He might have
and it'll be 1,000 yards with 10, 13 touchdowns.
I think,
which is still a phenomenal year.
I think OBJ is going to have a lot of touchdowns, but in the receptions and receiving yards department, he's not going to be as what everyone thinks he's going to do. Just because there are so many weapons on Cleveland, and Baker doesn't target one guy.
You can't be offense can't be on the field the whole time. So
yeah,
Michael Thomas, he's my receiver 2 or 3. It's Julio Jones and him. I would almost lean more Michael Thomas my 2. I love Drew Brees more than I like Matty Ice. I mean, that's kind of where I come to that. Brees knows how to get Thomas the ball. Thomas doesn't drop it. So,
yeah, literally.
I mean, I think Thomas, Julio Jones, Hopkins, Devontae Adams, they're all solid picks. OBJ is my toss-up. But I would take OBJ before I take most of these other 10, and we'll get through it here. Juju Smith-Schuster, is there, was that 4, 6?
Yeah, 6th or 7th.
I think he's a good pick when AB's on the team. I think he's going to struggle very hard this year without the clear number one on the team to soak up double teams.
I think, if anything, he'll do well at the second half of the year or after their bye week once he starts getting acclimated to being or fighting through the double teams. But I think to start, he's going to have a tough time.
Very,
I
very
really
difficult
do.
year.
Because, I mean, your next receiver is Dante Moncrief, who's not bad, but...
No, but he's not a number two. He's definitely, in my opinion, he's more of a bench guy. But when you have two number twos on the field, your offense is going to struggle. Ben Roethlisberger is good. He's aging. He's very slow. I think he's going to get just wrecked. And Juju's going to he's going to be expected to make these plays that he's not used to. And Dante Moncrief is not as athletic as Juju.
No, and what? Who else?
Who cares?
They got that guy from Toledo who's a rookie.
Yeah, who's a rookie who nobody ever heard of.
They have James Washington. Again, he's still kind of raw.
But
he's not bad. I don't think he'll be bad, but again, it's still just a raw group.
I think they're going to struggle very, very much this year.
I think to start, it's going to be a rough patch for them. I
do.
do. Because, I mean, you're going from having two of the top best players in each position in wide receiver and running back to going from... We're starting over almost with fresh talent that we had to develop again.
So I think it'll be it'll be a big struggle for Juju this year. But I think at the end of the day he'll end up being a top 15 wide receiver. So he'll end up being like a receiver too. I think that's solid. Mike Evans, he's a good pick.
He's going to get you a lot of touchdowns.
Yeah, he's a good receiver one. He's a low-end one.
He'll get you a lot of touchdowns and yards with not a lot of receptions.
But with his statistic output compared to DeAndre Hopkins...
He just gets you less receptions.
He gets you less catches, more yards,
just
and a few less touchdowns.
Yeah.
So you could argue, you could sleep on Evans until I don't know, late first, early second round.
If he's there in late first and you don't have a top tier receiver,
he's a solid one pick. Yep.
Yeah, because he's been the only mainstay in Tampa Bay with the crapshoot that's been in the Buccaneers.
It's so bad. AB Antonio Brown is going to have a great year.
Yeah, I think it's a lock. I really believe it.
I really do. I think you bet on that. I think AB is going to be a top 5 receiver. I think he's going to shove it in everybody's face. And haters be damned. He's going to ball out this year. Derek Carr is underrated, especially after last season. The man gets so much hate, it's actually insulting.
I've always liked Derek Carr.
So have I.
Then everyone sits on it. I think with how the offense and everyone, I think if Trent Brown can be a good left anchor for the left tackle spot.
I think Trent Brown's a little overrated.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But again, if he can at least anchor it well and give Carr some time to...
Yeah, just being an above average tackle.
Just let Carr throw the ball and don't let him get hit.
I think you're going to do fine. AB's going to have a good year.
I think Carr is going to throw for over 4,000 yards this year.
I think if he doesn't, he gets traded or he doesn't get a second contract. Or he already got a second contract. Or he doesn't get... he gets traded. He's getting traded. Mm-hmm. T.Y. Hilton. He's a good pick. He's a solid pick. Solid pick every year.
Yeah, because Luck, that's been his favorite target since he's entered the league, and it's not going to change this year.
No. But I think Paris Campbell is going to mirror his stats.
I think
eventually Paris Campbell, if it's not later this year, next year, is going to overcome T.Y. Hilton.
And I think with picking up Devin Funchess and having Eric Ebron, who are those two guys are going to be there.
Yeah, Funchess is a tall dude. He's your red zone threat. Yep, he's your red zone threat.
Him and Ebron are both. I think they're going to have a lot of the touchdown load, and Hilton and Campbell are just going to drive
catch heavy, shorter routes, quick dudes, shifty
screens, just the fun stuff basically.
And Paris Campbell, I think that's where Paris Campbell excels. Mm-hmm. That's absolutely where he excels. That's where he excelled at Ohio State. He's going to have a good year. He's going to have a very good year. You can argue T.Y. Hilton and Paris Campbell should go hand in hand. You could draft one or the other, and I think you'll have pretty close to the same output.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely. I agree.
Number 10, Keenan Allen. I think he's a solid receiver one with Rivers throwing to him.
When I've watched Allen, I've always liked him. He's a great route runner.
When he's healthy, he's a receiver one.
He's probably one of the best route runners in the league.
Absolutely. He's not going to burn you.
No, he's not.
But I'll tell you what, he's going to catch a lot. He's going to go up. He's going to get them. He's going to get the big catches. He's a lot like Mike Evans, except Keenan Allen has a whole lot better quarterback throwing to him.
Consistency, really.
I love Phillip Rivers. I think Phillip Rivers is one of the most dogged quarterbacks in the league.
I really don't understand how you can hate Phillip Rivers. He's really... I mean, after the game against Patriots last year, I think they have to start playing the panic button because Rivers is close to 40.
Yeah.
And his arm's not the same.
No, it's not, but it's not like he still can't... I mean, he gets it there. He's just not the same.
Mm-hmm, he can't zip it like he used to. That's what I'm saying. That I think the panic button's kind of hitting it in L.A. right now. So
yeah. All right, we're going to go into our sleepers for wide receiver. Cortland Sutton... I think. I mean, he's a solid guy. He's a solid pick. He's a good flex guy. Dede Westbrook. I love Dede Westbrook.
Yeah, I think he'll be good with Nick Foles throwing to him.
I don't like Nick Foles at all. I think that...
You don't?
I like Nick Foles as a backup. He is not a starting quarterback. His stats prove that he's garbage as a starter.
But I think with the team they have Leonard Fournette, who's a power...
if he shows up.
I think how the team is set up, I think it can do well.
I think it can too, but it all falls on Foles.
If the defense does what they usually do, I think Foles will do fine.
I mean, if Fournette has even an average year,
just gets
they'll be at least
because you have to fall for the play action, or Fournette's going to be able to blow past you.
Yep, or run you over real fast.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So, and N'Keal Harry. And N'Keal Harry was my receiver one coming out of the draft. I love this man. I love his talent. I love what he can do. And here's a hot take. Take this down. He's going to have a better year than Julian Edelman.
He's going to have so many touchdowns this year.
I think he's going to... Randy Moss, light.
That's what I think when I think of N'Keal Harry. He's just that tall.
Thank you. Oh, I thought we didn't even talk about that. That's fantastic. Yeah, absolutely. N'Keal Harry, because he's a rookie. He's raw. Randy Moss light.
I think so.
That's
bootleg version of Randy Moss.
Yeah, absolutely. Like we're talking like camcorder in the movie theater, Randy Moss. So it's okay, but he's a rookie, so eventually it's going to get better because then you're going to get the real stuff. So I think this year he's going to put up serious numbers. And N'Keal Harry, by the end of the year, I think is going to be a solid receiver too.
I think he'll have 10 plus touchdowns this year, easy.
I think so too. Tyrell Williams.
Complimenting Antonio Brown.
I mean, look at what Juju did last year. Tyrell Williams is a legitimate player. He's tall, lanky. He's got some wheels. He's got good hands.
I don't know about the Juju comparison just because their styles.
I was talking as Tyrell as like the number 2.
Yeah, but Tyrell's going to be playing a much different number 2. In the sense that I think Tyrell's going to have a lot more touchdowns, and I think that's why Antonio Brown's like touchdown production is going to decrease, but Tyrell's going to have a lot of touchdowns, but not as much yards.
And AB will have more catches.
Yeah, he's going to AB's going to do what AB does, but Tyrell Williams is going to greatly benefit.
Yeah, Tyrell is more of a red zone guy.
Yep, yeah, which is going to result in.
I think,
it result in double coverage on AB in the red zone. Then Tyrell's like, here,
yep, nope, here you go.
Yep.
Got it.
Yep.
Mecole Hardman. I think he's a legitimate option. I think he was underrated in the draft. If Hill flops due to his off-field issues, I think Mecole Hardman is going to be a very solid fantasy pick.
Tyreek Hill we're talking about. He's on Kansas City, so just want to make that clear.
Sorry about that. Yeah, if Tyreek Hill, if he plays, 2, if this off-field stuff gets to him and he's just not the same player, I think with having the number 1 ranked quarterback thrown to you, who does do gross things, a receiver of his caliber, he should be able to do something with it, in my opinion. So.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So, John Brown's our last guy, and it's only because I love John Brown. I think John Brown's a very underrated receiver.
He did very well in Arizona with the quarterback of Carson Palmer, who was retiring.
Palmer.
I've always when John Brown
he was in Baltimore last year, and come on.
Yeah, he couldn't get any production because Lamar doesn't like to throw the receiver.
Lamar doesn't throw the ball.
He throws the tight ends, not wide receivers.
That's why tight ends are going to be more.
That's why
prominent in Baltimore.
when Buffalo signed John Brown, I think this is one of the best pickups they had. Because
Absolutely, there's your deep guy. John, Allen chucks it.
He's
deep.
just gonna zip
Brown,
it.
Yep, Brown can move. He can scoot fast.
We're gonna talk about Josh Allen more in this QB section.
Here we go. And speaking of which, here we go. Mahomes is ranked 1. Madden curse is real. It is real. I don't care what you are. I don't care what you say. The Madden curse is legitimate. He's my QB3.
OBJ hasn't been the same since
That's factual. Actually, since that, he's been hurt.
Richard Sherman, Legion of Boom disbanded.
Richard Sherman's is the most overrated player in the league. Richard Sherman is a disgusting, mushy dog doo-doo. I cannot stand Richard Sherman. Everybody sits there and loves on him. He's awful.
That's why I was saying the man curse is real, because the Legion of Boom disbanded.
Yeah, they did. Hard.
Just saying.
Andrew Luck is their number 2. He's my number 1.
I think he's your lock to make sure he's going to have a good year, I think, guaranteed.
I think if he doesn't have a good year...
he's your safe pick. I really...
Yeah, absolutely. He's your absolute safe pick. If he doesn't have a good year, he's either hurt or he's got stuff going on outside of football and nobody knows about it yet. I mean, there shouldn't be any reason for him to have a bad year.
Yeah, he has
Zero.
He has the best offensive line.
Yep.
He's going to have probably the best offensive line in the league,
Yep.
along with a pretty
The
solid...
only thing that may hurt him is their run game. Marlon Mack is not a number 1.
Well, him and Hines are not bad together.
But they're not good.
They're
not good.
They're not good, but they're not good.
Ask me how I know. I went through both of them last year on my damn fantasy team.
They're not bad, but they're kind of just they're not gonna take the league by storm, whatever, like they did last year.
No, they're not.
They're okay. They're not gonna blow you away, but they are gonna.
They're sub-average.
Yeah. I'd say for a duo, they're just average.
They're average. They're not like, oh my god, 1-2 punch. They're just 1-2 punch.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Deshaun Watson is my number 2. Deshaun Watson is very underrated.
I think
Deshaun Watson.
I think he can be in the front running for an MVP this
If
year.
if Deshaun Watson had a left tackle, he's number 1.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see why he can't be the MVP
And a running back.
I really think I think Lamar Miller would do well if the line was decent.
I never liked Lamar Miller.
I
haven't liked a running back out of from the Texans in ever.
Didn't they have, what was it, Adrian Johnson?
No, Adrian. What's his name? It doesn't matter. He sucked.
Not Adrian Foster. I'm not.
Arian Foster.
Yeah, he was old. He
Yeah,
was
he-
good.
he-
He had a couple good years. Wasn't there a running back before him though that was good in Houston? I don't remember.
Nobody that I remember. Nobody important. I don't like it. The run game should be better. Lamar Miller's serviceable. I mean, don't get me wrong.
I really think that it comes down to the offensive line being really bad.
Yeah, and I think that the guys they drafted this year are just not going to do it. But Watson is still my number 2.
Oh yeah.
Aaron Rodgers, he's a solid pick. Every draft I've been in, people take a quarterback in the second round. On the reg. Dude is drafted super early all the time because the Packers chalked the ball. Aaron Jones is an okay running back. I think he's going to blossom this year. We should have actually had him as a sleeper. But Rodgers is like, what was QB4?
Yeah, 4. Yeah. Yeah, I've always been a fan of Aaron. The way he throws the ball is just awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he always produces, and he doesn't turn over the ball. So
Yep.
literally, he doesn't turn the ball over.
No, he doesn't. Baker Mayfield is 5, according to Fantasy Pros. He's a good option, but I don't think he's going to be a top 10 QB in fantasy perspective.
He's not going to be that guy that drops like 40, 50 points a game like Mahomes.
Exactly. I don't think that's going to happen.
Mayfield will get you maybe 20, 30 points at most.
Because they have a run game.
Yeah.
I think that's just flat out. They have a run game. There's options. If Duke leaves or when Duke leaves, Dontrell Hilliard is no slouch.
And there's still Kareem Hunt lurking.
And you got Hunt in halfway through the year. And right there, that 1-2 punch, you could argue is going to be the best in the league.
It will. It's not even debatable.
I mean, you have 2 guys. Kareem Hunt was pacing to be the best in the league last year before he got suspended. And then his rookie year, he was best in the league.
Yeah.
So...
And Nick Chubb was...
Nick Chubb finished top 3. last year.
Yeah, he was one of the best running backs in the league last year.
And he didn't even start until, was it week 4?
No, he didn't start until after they traded Hyde.
Which I thought was week 4. Because I thought they played the Jets week 3.
No, because you remember they played the Raiders week 4, and he only had like 3
three
carries for 150
for
yards.
1,000 yards,
Yeah, literally.
No, I'm just kidding.
150 yards.
Yeah, so, all right, yeah, that's fair. Where are we at? Matty Ice. For those of you who don't know, that's Matt Ryan, quarterback of the Atlanta Falcons. I mean, he's not a bad pick, but if you don't pair him with Julio Jones, you're not going to get the best out of him.
No. Yeah.
I mean, and it's only Julio Jones.
Because like there are other receivers, like they're good, but they're not going to they're not going to get you what Julio Jones will get you.
Nope. So if you draft Matt Ryan, you draft Devonta Freeman or Julio Jones.
You just load up on Atlanta players because they'll get you
points.
points.
If you have the chance to get all 3, do it. And you need to really bank on a really good Falcons team, which they can be.
Offense, yes.
Yeah, I mean, so, and who cares if they win? As long as they're putting up points, who cares?
Yeah, it's all about you the fan that's winning. Right.
The fan.
The player.
Yeah. Why you gotta be like that? We're at Russell Wilson. I mean, he's an overall solid pick. But
he's in a Baker Mayfield position.
Yeah, you plan to draft or grab a backup QB quick.
I think he's that guy that you get. He's a good starter, but like you also
depending on the matchups because they run a lot.
That's what I'm saying. He's like a low end QB1, but you better get a top tier QB2 because if say like a guy like Derek Carr who's going to sling it, you can just throw him in against if he has a good matchup. You throw him in, he's going to get you more points.
Yep. So like if you have, let's say you draft Drew Brees and you got Russell Wilson on your bench, you're good to go. Or even Carson Wentz. We'll talk about this here in a minute. Hold on. Cam Newton. Cam Newton's not even my average tier of quarterbacks. He's not even in my top half. I would not draft Cam Newton.
I think...
But as Jimmy knows, I don't like him. I do not like Cam Newton. I don't think he's been relevant or good for years.
I really believe that with repairing his shoulder, he will do well.
We don't know. Last year, I just remember watching that one pass, and you and I were sitting on the couch, and just.
Well, yeah, his shoulder was screwed. Everyone knew his shoulder was messed up.
2 years he hasn't been good. I just don't. I don't see him being fantasy relevant. I actually think he's going to get hurt again. I think Will Greer's going to end up playing. A lot.
I think Newton's not a guy you want to get as QB1. I think back up.
Yep, Cam Newton. If he's available, waiver wire stuff after the draft, grab him. Chances of that are slim.
I was just going to say very minimal.
But I don't draft him. And if you do, you do. I mean, like the last 2 rounds. Like, you grab your kicker and your D early, like you do, like the good people do. And you grab him, and you use him as a sleeper. And you only use him in good matchups. That's it.
Yeah.
Carson Wentz, he's a good option, but not the best fantasy option.
I think he's one of the big boomer bust guys this year. I really do.
I would treat him like a Cam Newton. If you draft him very late or don't draft him at all.
Yeah, proceed with caution.
And get a solid backup. Injury prone. The two of them, Cam and Carson, injury prone. Out the yin-yang. But I think Carson has more upside than Cam.
Yeah, because he's younger and, well...
And he's on one of the best teams in the league.
Yeah, they have one of the best offensive lines in the league. And a still solid defense for what it is.
Yep,
so.
I agree. Drew Brees at number 10 on this list is an insult. Is a very, very large insult. He's my QB5, and that's at like his lowest. I would draft him early because he's going to give you incredible numbers like he does every single year.
Yeah, because he's
the man hasn't thrown under, 4,500 yards ever. Actually, hold on.
Or maybe except his rookie season.
Yeah, maybe literally like 1 year.
I've always liked Drew Brees.
I love Drew Brees so much.
Because he's so accurate, and he's so accurate. Well, I just said that twice. He's very accurate with his throws.
Oh, you said it 3 times.
I know.
So is he...
He's very accurate.
Accurate? Or is he...
He's on the dime.
He's accurate. Okay, sweet.
Only concern with me is that his arm strength. That's really the only thing that comes down to it for me. Because because sometimes last year there was some, at least when I was watching him, it was just he was kind of floating the balls that were a little bit deeper.
I mean, he's 40.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's my only concern. He's just getting older. It might be just, again, a little bit tough for him to...
I don't know. Oh, wow, I didn't even know that. He threw under 4,000 yards for the first time last year, but it was 8 yards. 3,992 yards for the first time in his career.
But yeah, look how many times he threw last year compared to the year prior.
Yeah, there's that. He would have been way over. He actually would have been here.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. Oh, man.
But again...
And he had the highest completion percentage of his career. Yeah, Drew Brees is going to do well.
Yeah.
I mean, flat out bank on it. Also, moving on to sleepers. Josh Allen.
I think he's poised to have
I
it.
do too. Josh Allen
with Zay Jones, Robert Foster, pickups of Cole Beasley and John. I really see this team doing well this year. As a whole, I think it's a good team.
I think the Buffalo Bills are very good.
They're well pieced.
I think they're going to be second in that division.
I think they're like 9-7, 10-6. I really do.
If they beat up on the Pats, then we're talking.
If they give the Patriots a shot, I mean, if they're in it till the end for both games and they at least get one of those, they're legit. I really do.
I would buy that. I would buy.
As long as they're competitive against the top teams, then I can start seeing like
absolutely.
Okay.
All right, I buy that. Derek Carr.
He has to be. With Tyrell Williams, who was good on San Diego, when they were log jammed with a bunch of talented wide receivers.
Yep. And
now he's paired with AB. I mean, like, come on. Carr has shown he can throw.
Yeah, Carr has gotten a bad rap, and I'm pretty pissed off about it. Derek Carr is a legitimate quarterback. He's maybe not a top 10 guy, but he's a middle of the road quarterback. You could start him on your team.
I think he's a borderline 10.
Yeah,
borderline,
especially with AB. And if Josh Jacobs, who I'm not big on at all. I mean, I really don't like Josh Jacobs. I think if either Jacobs comes out and he is the guy everybody says he is, or if they trade for a stud back and they open things up and Derek Carr keeps his blind side clear, we're talking another Pro Bowl year.
Or maybe.
I mean, his receiving core is stellar, especially compared to last year, where he revitalized Jared Cook's career.
Everyone. Yeah, I kind of get upset when everyone says like Derek Carr sucks. Look who he's throwing to.
I mean, quite literally nobody.
They picked up Jordy Nelson. He was like their top, they were 1 or 2,
and then they cut him.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The disrespect that Carr gets,
is just unwarranted.
I mean, look at the situation with the Raiders. It's pretty bad.
It's really bad, and the fans are pissed off to top it off.
Yeah, I mean, he's in a losing situation, and he's still doing what he can.
And your coach hates quarterbacks, so Gruden is an awful QB coach. Awful.
Yeah, he's gonna have a good year. I really believe that.
I do too. Matthew Stafford's next. And now, Matthew Stafford's normally a top 10 guy for me, in my opinion.
They just have him ranked low.
Yeah, they have him ranked low on Fantasy Pros. But I think according to Fantasy Pros,
he's like 24th, I think
he's going to be a sleeper. Matthew Stafford is a starting quarterback in about every fantasy league I've ever seen ever.
Because he's a fantasy quarterback.
He is an absolute fantasy quarterback.
He throws for a ton of yards.
Yep, and Kerryon Johnson. If you want to maximize Matthew Stafford, pick up Kerryon Johnson.
Yeah, did we talk about sleepers for running backs? Yeah, Kerryon
Johnson is legit. He is legit. You sleep on him, you're going to lose.
Yeah, Kerryon Johnson's going to be an animal. And Matthew Stafford with a potentially great tight end.
Yep.
Galladay is a tall, deep threat, which he likes.
I'm not high on Galladay, but I mean, the more you talk about him, he's tall. If he catches, what you can do.
Marvin Jones isn't a bad to the slot. So, Yeah, I expect him just to have a pretty much normal year.
Matthew Stafford's gonna have a pretty normal year. He's gonna be an anchor for your fantasy team. He's definitely you draft him. You draft Matthew Stafford.
Yeah, points anchor for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Drew Lock. What? Drew Lock? Rookie? Yes.
Wait a minute. Wait. Who's starting in Denver? Joe Flacco though.
Maybe. Drew Lock.
He's
a waiver wire guy. He is a backup quarterback that eventually, when he starts,
he's gonna light it up.
I think he's gonna do insane things.
Mm-hmm.
The dude's got a freaking howitzer attached to his arm.
In the potential of the Denver offense.
Denver, Cortland Sutton,
Philip Lindsay.
Oh my God, Philip Lindsay. People sleeping on Lindsay are dumb, man.
Noah
Do
Fant.
you see that Noah Font he can scoot? Oh my God, and he's got good hands.
Imagine that
team is gonna be good.
Once they have to reestablish a younger defense because they're aging.
Yeah.
If they can piece together a defense to help complement the offense, they're
gonna be good.
They're a team of the future.
Yep,
sure.
They're a playoff contender annually.
I think right now Denver has to just bide their time.
Yeah, I think so. I think Locke can be the quarterback of the future for them. My opinion, from what I saw in college, from what I saw his tape. Dude's legit. Dude got ragged on for no reason. I mean, like...
Well, no. I mean, when I look at it, he's very comparable to John Elway.
Yeah, that's why Elway likes him.
Yeah.
I mean, really?
Not to mention, I loved Cortland Sutton coming out.
I just too. Oh, man, me too. Oh, my God.
Tall.
Love watching him play, even though he lit the Browns up hard.
Yeah, and all they were doing was chucking it to slant routes. So let's put it out there. Cortland Sutton's not a guy that runs slant routes. He can do all of it, but...
He can do it all. Yep. He's not a one-route guy like, DK.
But yeah, Cortland Sutton's legit. Philip Lindsay is electric, and that's like an understatement.
That's almost you're underselling him when you say that.
Yeah.
Next, Will Greer.
I just want to put it out there that Philip Lindsay got lit up by Joe Schobert Thursday Night Football.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he did. Yeah, he sure did. He got rocked. Bud. Yeah. Anyway, Will Greer. He's another waiver wire guy we were talking about along with Drew Lock. I think he's going to be there. I think he's a legitimate talent. I think people rag on him because he went to West Virginia.
But I think with how the offense is set up, I mean, if you look at it...
It's very, very comparable.
Short to intermediate. I mean, if you look at DJ Moore...
Short to intermediate, Will Greer will hit.
Yeah, and that's where he's accurate.
Absolutely. Because Cam doesn't chuck it.
But look how the offense is set up. DJ Moore, he's just a pure wide receiver. Curtis Samuel, he's a playmaker. Give him the ball. That's all you need to do. Christian McCaffrey...
I mean, do you need to... Yeah, you don't really need to. That offense is good.
Yeah, it could be great.
Yes, they could carry Greer.
Yeah, it could...
In my opinion, say Cam isn't ready to go. Oh, he's doing great, he's doing great. Awesome, he's doing great.
I think
if he isn't...
I feel like if I was a head coach, if Greer is developing like he is, if he's doing what he's supposed to be doing throughout training camp...
I think you make sure that left tackle is the absolute best left tackle... You can possibly have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you're still
and you make it happen.
If you're still skeptical about Cam, just say, okay, Greer, we trust you. You run the offense similar. You play how we run the offense. Just
make it happen.
And I think he can do it because he is really built around the system. He really, I think, can thrive.
I think he will do well.
And I think there's a good enough defense that I think he'd be okay.
Absolutely. Our last guy, Nick Mullins, waiver wire pickup. He's just like the last two. I love Nick Mullins. I love his game. I love his personality. I like what he brings to the team. I like what he brings to a locker room.
Yeah,
he's a leader. He's a hardworking guy. Bank on him. He'll get you through it.
He's the one that made George Kittle relevant. Just bringing that up.
Yep, there you go.
I'm just saying.
I mean, hot takes. Nick Mullins is a good waiver wire guy. That's assuming that Garoppolo is also hurt for like the 15th year in a row.
That's what I'm saying. If Garoppolo's knee's not ready...
Which you can assume because he hasn't shown otherwise.
Well, yeah, no one said anything about him. I think Nick Mullins, if, say, push comes to shove and Garoppolo's not ready, just pick him up, throw him in maybe for a start or two if you don't have a quarterback you're sold on. Then I think he'll produce you 20, 30 points because there's talent there in San Francisco.
Agreed.
That team, that's a sleeper team for playoffs as well.
Yeah, I think if they come together, they're a sleeper team.
Their defense is so good. Their defense can be so good.
It can be, yes, it can. I agree. We're going to finish off with tight ends. Fantasy Pros top 5. They had Kelsey, Kittle, Ertz, O.J. Howard, and Hunter Henry.
I think the first.
I think the top 4 you can't go wrong. OJ Howard's an underrated tight end.
He's a playmaking tight end.
I think by the end of the year he'll be more of a top 10 or a top 7 or 8 instead of a top 4. But that's not an insult. It's more of I don't know if he's ready for that jump yet, and I don't trust his quarterback.
I think he can produce. I'm more concerned about
you get him on a team that loves a tight end. You put him on what? Put him in New Orleans. He's the greatest tight end that ever lived. Drew Brees can play for another 4 years.
Yeah, literally. Yeah.
Who else likes tight ends? Phillip Rivers,
Carson Wentz, Pat Mahomes.
Yeah, I mean
OJ Howard's I think he's a more electric Travis Kelce. I think Howard's faster.
Travis Kelce's legit. That's
No,
blasphemous. That is blasphemous.
I think Howard's.
You do not come on here
and
say that.
Kelce's an all-around tight end. I'm saying Howard.
Cleveland Heights.
I know, but I'm saying Howard's more of a playmaking tight end. He's I don't know if he's much of a blocker, but he can.
No, he can't block at all.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think he's a faster, more athletic Kelce. I'm not saying Kelce's not athletic.
That's fair. And so Hunter Henry though at top 5, I hate it.
The potential's there. I mean,
I hate it. It's there, but I hate it.
Hey, he is tall and he can catch.
We'll see what happens this year. Our sleepers, TJ, they're pretty much all rookies except for 2 guys, and they're both on the Ravens.
And the one guy just was a rookie last year. So.
Yeah, so they're all guys that are within 2 years, 3 years. TJ Hawkinson, I think that's a given. I think he's going to have an absolutely ungodly year.
I think he's going to be a monster.
I think he's going to be absolutely insane.
I think blocking and passing, he's going to be so good.
Noah Fant, I think he's going to have a good year.
Because Flacco likes to throw to tight ends. He's always had.
Yep, always has.
In Baltimore, they've always ran multiple tight end sets.
Yep.
I remember Dennis Pitta.
Oh man,
you remember?
Dennis Hua? Yeah, Pitta. Yeah, that guy.
I mean, they've had a bunch of tight ends run through there.
Yes, they have, and I mean that's been like a Baltimore thing for a little while.
So I think with Flacco going there, I think Font's gonna get a lot of early repetition too.
Absolutely. Jay Sternberger. See now, I don't necessarily know if he's actually gonna be good, but I tell you what, coming out of college. He piqued our interest fast.
His size, I think I'm more concerned. It's more about if he's going to play, because if Jimmy Graham's starting, he's not going to play.
Yeah, but Jimmy Graham's on his way out, in my opinion, man. I really, really, really think...
He hasn't been the same since he's gotten traded to Seattle.
That's true. Yeah, Seattle killed him, because Russell Wilson doesn't know what a tight end is.
But, he won a Super Bowl doing that somehow, so...
I don't know. Man, I got nothing. I got nothing for that. All I do know is Jace Sternberger, given the opportunity, is going to be legitimate.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I think at some point this year he's going to get his opportunity,
absolutely.
and he's going to flourish.
Absolutely. And our last 2 guys both play for the Ravens, Mark Andrews, Hayden Hurst.
They were both good last year.
Yeah, they're both going to be good this year because Lamar Jackson can't chuck it. And they're both good route runners, and they can block pretty decently. So
and they both catch very well.
Yep. So a lot of chip and dumps. I see that being a very one-dimensional offense. I don't see anything deep, and I expect to laugh at Lamar Jackson getting the one really solid play action, chucking it deep, and it'll fall short. So
No, he's gonna throw it deep, and it's gonna go over the crossbar.
Oh, out of bounds. Oh, no.
Sorry, Coach, it slipped.
Yeah. The one duck you didn't throw, huh? All right, that's our show today. Thank you all for listening. Don't forget to contact us. sports440@gmail.com. sportsnuts440@gmail.com. Please pick one. Write both. We love hearing from people. Reach out to us. Contact us if you want to write. We are always looking. And contact us if you hate the show or love it. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
This was the Sports Avenue Podcast, and you will see us next time.
Thank you again. God bless.